Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Shop Adventure. I am the Athletic Geek and getting ready to leave the old homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ to go venture out and pick up my bounty of my pull list, new comics, possibly some collectibles. Who knows what this week's adventure will bring, but before I head on out, I'd like to discuss what really stood out from last week's bounty, and unfortunately this week there's not a whole hell of a lot to talk about. I enjoyed of the Hanna-Barbera DC crossover books that I bought. I did enjoy Flash and Speed Buggy. It was fun in its simplicity and just how cool the characters interacted. It was just cool. Jabberjaw Aquaman. There's a few clever lines where they call Aquaman just referred to Aquaman out in public as the man who talks to fish, and Aquaman would say Jabberjaw's line, I get no respect, which was fun, but then it would go in between fun stuff like that and then kind of some lazy writing, and I hate to say that. Robin, Ra's al Ghul was a good book, the prelude to the wedding, and then Man of Steel was okay. I liked it a little bit better than Bendis's part, or what I read of Bendis's part in the Action 1000. But, nothing really felt earth-shattering or really much at all. So I'm hoping this week, that's not saying it's bad, just nothing, everything was just kind of okay. It was good, okay to good. But I'm hoping this week can bring some more excitement, and I will see you guys when I get back with my bounty. See you in a bit. Hey everyone, I am back here at the homestead, back here at Athletic Geek HQ, and boy was it a hot one, was it a long one today, but finally home, got a hell of a pull list this week. But before we get started on that, I want to point out this cool Aquaman t-shirt that I picked up this week. Didn't necessarily get this at my local shop, but I picked this up at another shop that sells games and just various kind of geek culture related things, and just I think it's a pretty cool looking shirt. Got a pretty cool price on it, and my other shirt that I wore when I started the adventure got pretty sweaty because of the heat. So change into this new one I got. I really think it's a neat little shirt. I've never had an Aquaman shirt before, so this is the first, and I think it looks kind of cool. But time to get to the comic bounty of the week, and we're going to start with Marvel. We're going to start with Deadpool #1. Scotty Young taking over for Jerry Dugan on the Deadpool title, and I'm just interested to see how well that they can continue the Daredevil. Deadpool. Got my D villains or D heroes mixed up. I'm all over the place. It was a hot one. I'm very interested to see how Deadpool continues with this new writer. I really want this to be as good as it was. That's going to be difficult because the last run was so good, but I'm optimistic that this can keep up to the same level that Dugan had the book. From there, we go to Astonishing X-Men #12. It says, A Man Called X finale. I'm interested to see what happens with this book now. I've probably mentioned this in past adventures. This kind of became a motion book, a book that where I'm not necessarily, I don't dislike it, but it's kind of a book that I don't want to pull, but it's just not really at the same level as other books that I'm currently reading. I really got into this series because it brought back, even just from the cover, a lot of the characters I like. You got Psylocke, you got Gambit, Rogue. So with all those kind of characters in the forefront, I was really hoping I would enjoy this book more. And that isn't to say that I've disliked it, but I'm kind of really hoping for it to be just a bigger hit with me than it was. But we'll see how everything goes when the storyline concludes, and we'll see if they're going to have more Astonishing X-Men or what the next story arc brings, and go from there. And staying on the X-Men side of things, I have X-Men Gold #29. It is the summer of weddings in Marvel and DC, and the Kitty Pryde Colossus wedding story continues, and I've liked it so far, and we're going to keep going with it. That is it for the Marvel part of the bounty. Now time for the DC part of the bounty, and we're going to go with Batman number 48, The Best Man. Again, going from one wedding to another, the Batman Catwoman wedding is looming in the future over at DC, and the Joker's going to be involved somehow. It's the start of kind of a new arc with this. Really, really cool cover. It's just got the Joker smashing chess pieces that look like all the different members of the Bat family. So it's a really sweet cover. I'm excited to read this. I've liked the Batman run so far, and I've liked the wedding story so far. So, gonna keep checking it out. Should be pretty good. We go from there to Nightwing number 45. Remember kind of mentioning in the past that Nightwing kind of was becoming that motion book, like I mentioned with Astonishing a minute ago. But they really turned a corner, and I've really been enjoying this storyline with like this technological terrorist kind of thing going on in Bloodhaven. And yeah, just when I kind of thought that Nightwing was not really a book that I was going to be interested in anymore, and that hurts me to say because I love Dick Grayson, Nightwing's character. It picked right back up, and really want to see how it keeps going. So, Nightwing number 45, and then speaking of Nightwing, nice little segue for you. We have the Prelude to the Wedding, Part 2, Nightwing versus Hush. Remember in my earlier video, like the Rob and Ra's al Ghul, which is also kind of part of the Prelude to the Wedding. That was almost by default the pick of the week for my best pick from last week. So interested to see how Nightwing versus Hush goes and the continuation of all the wedding stuff going on with Bruce and Selina in the DC universe. We move from the world of Batman to Green Lanterns number 48. At the conclusion of the last story arc, it was implied that Jessica Cruz had done something wrong with Hal and the Guardians, and we're going to see where it goes from there. You've heard me hype up this book so much. It's just such a great book. Characters are great, and we're going to see how it keeps going. I'm interested to see how Simon and Jessica in their book how adding Hal into the mix is going to affect this title, because one of the things, and I love Hal's my favorite Green Lantern, but I'm very interested to see how adding him changes the flow of the story, and I'm just also interested to see how the story goes, because I've really just enjoyed the buddy cop, Simon and Jessica on their own. So I mean, am I going to grow to dislike Hal Jordan with this? Very intrigued and very excited to read this. So Green Lanterns number 48. We go from there to The Man of Steel, if I can pick it up. Number 2 of 6. This is the weekly introduction to Bendis to the DC Universe and the world of Superman here. As I stated before I got home, before I took off today, the last one was good. I kind of lost a little hope reading his section of Action 1000, but last week, it brought me back up, and I'm hoping that it can continue. Bendis, as great of a writer as he is, he's been very hit and miss with me in the last 5-6 years. So I mean, we're just going to see where this goes. Maybe, the change of scenery, the new characters will help his writing. Maybe he should stick with Marvel. We'll be able to get a better idea when we not only finish this miniseries, but then kind of see where he goes in his run on the Superman ongoing title he's going to be working on. So, but the optimism's there. I have faith. So, Man of Steel. Number 2, Brian Michael Bendis writing Superman. Brian Michael Bendis at DC. And to conclude The bounty for this week. I've been hyping it up. I've been talking about the miniseries. It is here. Justice League #1, written by Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder, to me, is the best writer of the decade. Everything that Stan Lee, Denny O'Neil, Frank Miller, all those names meant to their respective eras in comics, with how well they did with writing multiple characters, I feel like that's going to be the case with Snyder now that he's on Justice League. Now that he's not just writing Batman, you're gonna, and he's phenomenal writing Batman. You're gonna see really how good of a writer he is writing superheroes when he is able to show what he can do with Justice League. The No Justice story arc was excellent, and this will hopefully be a continuation of that. I might eat my words. I might come on here in a couple weeks and eat crow about Snyder and his writing on Justice League. But I feel like if he can do and be as good of a writer as he was on No Justice with all these different characters, he should be regarded in the same vein as the names I mentioned earlier. Your Frank Millers, who did so well on writing Batman, writing Daredevil, writing his other books. Denny O'Neil, who did all of DC in the 70s. Stan, who you say what you want to about his creativity, but I still think what he wrote was great. Back in the early days of Marvel. So that's kind of how I feel like this is. If this goes well, this is how Scott Snyder will be remembered, and how he should be remembered. So that is it for the pull list this week. Let me know what you got at your local comic shop down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like more content, please go give my Facebook page a like at www.facebook.com/athleticgeek89. Not just comic stuff there, but stuff from all around geek culture. But that is it. I'm out. Y'all be cool. Later.